Hey guys, welcome back. So in our previous video, we discussed building your Azure virtual network. We talked about subscriptions, we talked about regions, we talked about VNet, address spaces, subnets, NICs, NSGs, which is also known as the network security groups, as the firewall, and we attached NSG to all the subnets. We created subnets from three different address spaces within the big global address space, which sits on the VNet. Now, we're going to do something called VNet peering. And we will compare it to traditional networking so you'll understand what that means and why you need it. So in this drawing, as you can see, let's move that across here. In the same resource group, this time I'm going to build a VM. And before I created the VNets, I created the subnets, the NSD, I created the next. Now in the next tutorial, the one we're on now, what I'm going to create is using a VM to build all these important parts. Then afterwards, we will get the VM to be able to speak to the network on another VM that sits over here. We have a little issue with West Europe at the time of recording because that region is overwhelmed, and so Microsoft is not provisioning VMs at the moment there. But it's going to help you understand what peering is all about, the difference we have within the peering types supported by Microsoft. Let's have a quick reading. So virtual network peering. Virtual network peering enables you to seamlessly connect networks in Azure Virtual Network. The virtual networks appear as one for connectivity purposes. The traffic between virtual machines uses the Microsoft backbone infrastructure. Like traffic between virtual machines in the same network, traffic is routed to Microsoft private network only. Azure supports the following types of peering. So we're going to talk about the type of peerings. We got the virtual network peering, which is connecting virtual networks within the same Azure region. Okay. And then the global virtual network peering, which is connecting virtual networks across Azure regions. There are benefits to it, of using virtual network peering, whether local or global. And that includes a low latency, high bandwidth connection between resources in different virtual networks. You can read more, but the ability for resources in one virtual network to communicate with resources in a different virtual network very helpful. And the ability to transfer data between virtual networks across Azure subscriptions, Azure Active Directory tenants, deployment models, and Azure regions. Also talks about the ability to peer virtual networks created through the Azure Resources Manager. The ability to peer a virtual network created through Resource Manager to one created through the classic deployment model. And you can learn more. There are no downtime to resources in either virtual networks when creating the peering or after the peering is created. Then there's more here, and there's service chaining, and there are gateways, and there's more. There's more. So these different subnets, different VNets, and how they can talk to different subnets. We'll talk to other subnets because we have peering between this little VNet here and that VNet there, or that VNet there, and we're going to just do a simple video peering, and I'll tell you the type, and the keyword is whether you're in the same region or you are in a different region. So what we have is we have West Europe. The concept is the same, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and now create a VM. So go home again. In Azure, you can close all these open windows. Close this back again. Close that. Close that. Close that. I'm going to create a VM. So you see, I did not go to here, and I didn't go to all services to create a resource because the shortcut was available. It was a favorite. It was easy. I could also come down and go to virtual machines, bring it here, click and add. And before we do anything, let's find out if Microsoft is giving us anything for. Okay, the United States has something. Let's see if it supports Microsoft data center. I'm going to select a very small VM. Select this one. They're just for connectivity purposes. We're going to put in the same resources group so we can have the same view, but then it's a US West, so I'll call it US West. VM1. Username net port. And let's note that down. It's net port admin. Always note it down and create your password. Confirm your password. So we're going to note that down as well. Yeah, I want to be able to RDP to it, and I want to be able to HTTPS, HTTP. I don't want to add SSH at all. So this is what I'm selecting. Data center, US West. And from here, I'm still able to build my network. So let's go to disks. There's nothing to change in here. Go networking. So when I come to networking, then I can choose what I want. So remember the address space was 10.0.0.0/16, and we used 10.4. something. The virtual network. Create a new one. And this is US West VNet. There are no overlaps, as you can see now. It's very important to keep checking this out. I can create a different subnets. So this is subnet, subnet 1. And I can create a different subnet as well as subnet 2. But let's leave it subnet or subnet 1 for now. Do OK. do next one event. Enable auto shutdown. I can leave it as access or select a different time zone depending where I am. But I'm based in London, so go over here and I'll say at 5 p.m. usually shut down. Advanced. Previous. You can send an email to me here when to shut down. Advanced. So generation 1 by default. Generation 2 isn't supported yet. I think it's something that Microsoft is still working on. Let's create that. So it's 3:19. What time is it going to finish? Building that VM. And that's the beauty of having the cloud, because you can build things very quickly, spin the map, tear them down, destroy them, build again, destroy them. So there's the bit I want you to guys to pay attention to. It's created a public IP, a network security group. It's created a VNet. Of course, a storage for it to store information. The VM, its name for the network security group is the one. What's this one? So look, the NIC, network interface, and then of course the VM itself. Alright, so that's the NIC. So once it's done, whilst that's running, let's duplicate this tab. And I'm interested to seeing how things look like now. Pay attention to default, because as a network engineer, you should design it away. That's best practice, and it saves you a lot of headache and gets the job done. So I'm gonna go to, let's go and use Network Watcher. Now we select our security group, resource group I mean, and the topology. So over here, I would select Azure Networking, and that's the one we built before, and there's the one that's been built now. Now you'd find the network security group is attached to the NIC, it's attached to the VM, and that's a default layout that Azure gives you. But what you want to do is remove this from the NIC and put it in the subnet. So when traffic comes in, it goes through this before it allows in the subnet, so you can control it better there. So to do that, I'm going to click into the NIC, and let's look at network interface is connected to. Say associated there. I'll get rid of it. Associate, do yes. You need to make sure that the VMs are even running at the moment. So let's go to virtual machines, and this is just creating. Once it starts to say running, then we can stop. So that's gone. Now when I go to topology, this NSG US West is removed. It's completely disappeared. Let me refresh that for you to see. It's gone. So the NSG has disappeared. So what I need to do is go and add the NSG here. And to do that, now I'll head back in here and I'll go to resource groups. Select my Azure networking resource group. Let's find my NSG. And then let's assign it to, let's associate that to ONIC. And we'll use, to a subnet. To a subnet, not going back the way. So you wonder why you can't find the subnet there. So what this we're gonna do, we're gonna go back in here, go to the VNet. VNets. And then the subnets. There's a subnet here for sure. You can select over here the network security group. Save that. Let's see what happens. Whilst it's doing that, let's go over here again and let's see. It's still creating. Let's refresh that. I doubt it's still creating by now. It should have been done by now. Still creating. Okay. Alright. You keep creating. Let's go over here. And we got our VM. Subnet 1. NSG attached to the right subnet. Let's go to over here. And I'm looking for something important. But that is on the VNet side. So click on the VNet. Scroll down here and then go to diagram. Alright, let's go back to network watcher, guys. Let's see what's happening. Let's go to topology and then Azure networking RG. So I see subnet, I see that, but I don't see my NSG. So what's happening to my NSG? So click in here. Click into service off. Save that. Okay, topology. Refresh that. Okay, brilliant. So our NSG is now in the right subnet. So we got this VNet, and we got that VNet over there. Let's see if I can show you the partitioning. So, okay, so this is US West, and this is Europe. So clearly they are different, but we need to get them to talk to each other. To do that, we need to draw a line here. I'll get this to connect to that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go click in here. And then I'll say, I need to be to the US West guys. Europe West guys. So I'm going to go to peerings, and I'll add a peering, and I'll call it US West VNet 2. So I'm trying to connect to West Europe. That's where I'm going to. And it's going to be trying to copy this across. So once you create one going that way, there's one being created that way back. Now, if you had this network, a similar one here, and you wanted this to talk to that, what you need is connection between this and that. Let's go here. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get a subnet in between these two so the two of them can talk to each other. But not just that, a route that they will use to get to resources beyond here, and a route is will use to get resources beyond here. And so traditionally you come in here, set IP address, and the two of them can ping. But they can also say, if you want to get to resources like 10.4.00, go via this gateway over here and say IP route 10.4.0.0/16, go via whatever IP address you're going to give to Senate here. And so I would do that actually. And let's see how things are on the Azure side. So whilst it's loading, please bear with me one moment. Here we are, the loading fine. Perfect. So what you're really creating here is you are creating West Europe VNet, and US West VNet, and what you are trying to achieve, let's turn it off. What you're trying to achieve is a route that goes across here to see resources beyond here, and a route that goes across there to receive resources beyond here. So when I go to it says the route's going to West Europe, and then West Europe back to the United States. And so I'm going to do for now. Okay, so that's running. I'm gonna go over here and then okay. Oh yeah, there's spaces in here. You have to be careful with spaces on these platforms. They hate spaces. Okay, so I'm saying I'm creating a static route going across to West Europe, and then I want a static route from West Europe coming across to US West. So from one place, you can create both routes or both peering without going into one of these VNets and the other VNets. So let's look at the drawing again before we stay on page, before we click what we're about to click. So we're going to go back again to Network Watcher and topology. And you see that there's no connectivity between the two. Okay, so I'm going to create a connectivity between the two, and so I'll go ahead here and I'll do okay. So you see it's creating two, one going to West Europe, one from US West back to West Europe. You know, so it's creating both directions, like you would create a route going across here and a route going across there. So whilst that's running, let's now start this. So for the sake of discussion, I'm going to use a subnet in between US West and then West Europe. Show my clicks. And so let's use an IP address of our choosing. So I'm in US West, which is the site. I'm gonna do conft interface f2 0 description. Let's use the 10.10.10. Let's use 10. And we're going to use on that side, we'll use 2. No shot. Copy run, start. And then in West Europe, similarly, we're going to do something to show run interface f2/0. So in that West Europe, I'm going to do something similar. So conf t interface f2/0 IP address. So no shut. Now when I ping 10.100.100.2, I'm able to ping it. But what if it's ping 10.100.100.1? I can ping that too. But in West Europe here, we have different subnets. So we got 10.4.40.0 subnets here. So I'm going to go ahead and do something. So conf t interface f/not description downlink to subnet. I doubt it will accept it because it's quite long. Okay, it did. IP address, and let's choose what we chose. 10.4.4t dot. Let's use 1 for example, or 254 as a gateway. 255.255.255.0. No shut. Now, this subnet is connected here, but can this guy here in US West be able to get to it? Let's try that and see. So I'm going to copy this subnet here. And you see it's not able to get anywhere there because it doesn't have any route, and that's what we do the peering for. You do the VNets peering to create the appropriate routes where necessary. So let's go over there, and I'm going to create a route from the US to get to this. So I think the US side is .2, so I'll just say IP route to 10.4.40.0. Please use the interface on the other side, my nest hop, which is 10.100.100. I'm 2, so it has to be 1. Now when I go back and ping again, there we go. We can ping nicely. Why? Why can we ping nicely? Because we created a route. But then from West Europe, can I ping any subnet beyond America? It's going to be the same. So you also create a route going across. I won't do that, but I know you can do it. So similarly, you do your IP route to the subnet, going to get to and say use 10.100.2 to get there. And that's what we're doing here on this peering. Okay, so it's connected. It's done it nicely. I can click into it. Now we look at the descriptions and features available. Go back to topology, refresh, and welcome to the world of global VNet peering. Why is it global? Why is it global? And there you go, you see it there? Goes is global because these are different regions. So we got West Europe and US West. So now, just like we did in the DNS, this machine here will be able to go along here and ping a machine that sits here. At the moment, don't have a machine here because Europe West is overwhelmed, and I cannot spin a machine here yet. But that's the concept. This is the concept. So now, this VM here can go through its NIC, go to subnet, of course, go over here, go across here, come down, and then go to another machine that may sit here. Yeah, so that's how it works. So now, in a short while, we have created a VNet. One, we created a VNet on its own, a subnets on their own, NSG and NICs on their own. And the other one, we just built a VM. The beauty of Azure is to build a VM. The VM comes with a NIC, comes with a public IP address, comes with an NSG, which you put in the right place, like the subnets, and of course your VNet. And so, I hope you have understood this and able to compare that to traditional networking, and you can go and conquer Azure. So peering here, it's exactly like static routes for different switches and other switch networks attached to them. So thank you for viewing. I hope you've had a good time. Let's go one more time and have a quick overview. We started with West, not having any connection across to West Europe, which we already built from scratch. But we built US West when we started building this VM. So you can build a VM and do whatever you want with VNet. So these VNets, this address space 10.0.0/16 and this address space 10 dot 2 or the 2.4, something like that. Yes, that address space, they can now talk to each other. Now the interesting thing is, let me explain it over here. This link goes through Microsoft Fabric backbone, so it goes to Microsoft backbone. You don't need to worry about charges because Microsoft gives you charges next to peanuts. Make it very easy. It's a good platform, and I hope you will enjoy your time there. So once again, your VNets and that VNet represent different address spaces, and for them to talk to each other, you need to create a route across both sides. So a route going here and a route coming back that way. So I hope this has been good for you, and I'd like to thank you for dropping by today. See you on the next one.